Hello everyone. So in last video class we discussed about the Python data types and variables. And also we discussed about the types of data types, and then we discussed the type function, id function and print function. So the types of data types is two types of data types, that is user defined data type and built-in data type. Anyway, in today's videos class we are going to discuss about the built-in data type. In this built-in data type, we are going to discuss int data type and the base conversions. Before going to discuss about that int data type, what is the built-in data types? So the built-in data types, which is nothing but the data types which are already available in Python programming language are called built-in data types. The data types which are already available in Python programming language are called built-in data types. That means, so we have the library, Python library. So whenever we download that Python software, the library will be included. In that library, the data types will be available. That data types are called built-in data types. So there are different types of built-in data types. That is, there are some classification of built-in data types. The first one is numbers, sequence and mapping. And there are one more data type, that is none data type. Anyway, we'll discuss about the none data type at the last, the concept of built-in data types. If you see the classification of built-in data types, the first classification here is numbers. So the numbers is, and that numbers again classified into three. One is integers, float, complex. Next to the sequence, boolean, string, none. So anyway, these are all the basic data types of built-in in Python. So another sequence classification here is list, tuple, range, bytes array, and also set, for example set, dictionary. Anyway, this is the mapping. So like this one, the built-in data types are classified. First one is numbers, second one is sequence, and next one is mapping. So in the numbers we have the three data types mainly: integers, float, complex, and the sequence classification is boolean, string, none. Generally in Python programming language, all these data types are considered as basic data types. Next, in last video we discussed about the three functions, that is type function, next one is id function, and next one is print function. For every data type, we are going to use these three functions commonly in programming languages. What is this type function means? The type function is used which type of the variable. That means which data type are represented to the variable by the Python interpreter at runtime. So this statement, about this concept we discussed in last video. And next, id function. By using id function, we are going to get the address of the object or the address of the variable. Next, in print function, just to print the value of the variable. Anyway, in Python, as per in last video discussion, we considered everything is an object. We consider in Python everything is an object. So for example, how can we how can we give some clarity about this statement, that is everything in Python is an object. For example, here a equals to 10. Now this variable is considered as an object and this is considered as an value, and this is which object means, this is which class object means int class object, because of based on the assigning value at runtime, the Python interpreter allocates the data type. So here the data type is considered as a class and this variable is considered as an object. So based on these statements, we can say that is everything in Python is an object. So in int class, we created an object, that object name is a, and in that object the value 10 is stored. This is about the dynamically typed programming languages. In dynamic, because of the Python is a dynamic typed programming language. In dynamic programming languages, for example, if you take this Python only, in dynamic typed programming languages, the type checking will done at runtime. That's why that data types will be allocates at runtime. The type checking will done at runtime. So hence the data types will be allocates at runtime by the Python interpreter. But in static typed languages, if you take Java, C, in that the type checking will done at compile time. Hence at compile time the type checking will be done. So that's why in Java programming languages or C programming languages, you must and should define a data type before the variable, like this one. So anyway, this is the data types classification and some about that functions in brief. Next, the everything in Python is an object. Here, first the data type we are going to discuss int data type. That int data type represents an integer number. We can say whole numbers. The int data type represents what? And whole numbers, which we can consider as an integer number. And one more point here is, an integer number is a number without any decimal point. For example, 10. 10 is what? A whole number. We can consider that is an integer because of this number does not contain any decimal point or fractional value or fractional point. So this type of values we can consider in Python programming language as an integer values. So any number without any decimal point or fraction point, that is considered as an int data type. Next, in Python, that int data type store very large numbers, very large integer numbers. Why? Because in Python programming languages, we don't have the long data type as we had in Java. Because of in Java we had the long data type, but in Python we don't have the long data type. But there is one statement I need to discuss with you. Up to Python second version we have the long data type, but from Python third version the long data type is removed. That means there is no functionality for that long data type. So if you want to store the large number of values, you use the int data type only, right? Anyway, here this is the example, a equals to 10. It is also integer value, and negative values are also considered what? An integer. For example, this is the thing. Anyway, we will discuss one example. See here, int a equals to 10 and similarly b equals to minus 10. B equals to minus 10. So here I am going to check that the type function, that is with the object b, and we are going to use that id function, id of a and id of b, right? So next here print b. So just I am printing the values and I am going to checking the type of the data type, the type of the data, and also I am getting what? Address of the variable. Now see, I save this program. I am going to compile, right? So Python, so and the file name is Python test.py. See what are a is 10 value, that is int data type, and b is also minus 10, that is also int. That means positive values or negative values. So both the values are represented by the integer, but that values does not contain any decimal values, and this is the address of the object a and this is the address of the object b, and these are the values of the a and b. So this is about what? Int data type. Here next we can represent that int values in another forms. So that is in the generally we can represent that int values in the following ways. First is decimal form, binary form, octal form and hexadecimal form. By default we are representing that int values in decimal form, which the base value is 10. For example, the base value for 123, this is the decimal number. By default we are going to represent that int values in decimal forms only, that is the base value is 10. So next in this the allowed digits are 0 to 9. See, this digit is between the digits, that is 0 to 9. That 123 is a number and this number is between 0 to 9. Example as usual. So but the next here is, the next form here is binary form. So in this binary form that base value is 2 and the allowed digits are 0 and 1. 0 and 1. Next, if you want to represent that int values in binary form to a variable, then you must and should use the prefix either 0b or 0 capital B. 0b or 0 small b. For example, a equals to 0b 1 1 1 1 1. So what? So in this way we can represent the int values in binary form. Next, but here that one statement we have to remember. Maybe as a programmer you can give the int values in binary form, but the Python interpreters gives the output in decimal form only. First, let's see that example. See, for example, I am going to give some values in decimal form. A equals to 0 small b 1 1 1. Okay, 0 small b. So, right. Next, now first I am going to check that the type of data type. Next, I am going to check the ID of object. Now I am going to print A. What is the value of this A? See, 1. Okay, let me see. First we'll calculate that value 1 1 1. That means we are going to convert that binary value into decimal values. So how can we convert? Means because here we have the base value is 2. For example, here the the value is 1 1 1. So 2 power 0 and 2 power 1 and 2 power 2. That means 2 power 2 into 1. Next, plus 2 power 1 into 1 plus 2 power 0 into 1. 2 power 2 is 4 into 1 plus 2 into 1 plus 2 power 0 means 1. 1 into 1. So 4 plus 2 plus 1. 4 plus 2 6. 6 plus 1 7. So the output is 7. So let me see this example. Right. So I save this program. And again I am going to run this. What happened? See, the value is 7. See, here we represent that int value in which form? Binary form. But the Python interpreter giving the output in decimal form only. This is the one important statement we have to remember. Similarly, we can also represent that int values in octal form, which is the base value is 8. And that allowed digits are 0 to 7. So 0 to 7. How can we assign the values? Means, for example, variable A, we have to assign the values of int in octal form. Then you must and should prefix with 0 small o or 0 capital O. For example, here in example 123 is there. So what is the 123 value in decimal form? Because of the Python interpreter gives this in decimal form only. So how can we calculate? Means, what is the number here? 123, right? See, 123. So how can we convert this value into binary, that is decimal value or decimal form? Means, so base value is 8, that's why 8 power 0, 8 power 1 and 8 power 2. So that is 8 power 2 into 1 plus 8 power 1 into 2 plus 8 power 0 into 3. Now 8 square means 64 plus 8 2s are 16 plus 1 into 3 3. Okay, so total 83. So let me run the program. See here 0. So we are going to represent that int values in octal form. So 0 small o 1 2 3, that is 123. So I save this program and now we are going to run this program. See, sorry, 1 minute. I save this program once again. See, what is that one? 83. So even though if you are going to represent the int values in octal form, but the Python interpreter gives the output in decimal form only. So that is the thing. Next, we can also represent the int values in another form, that is hexadecimal form, which base value is 16 and the allowed digits is 0 to 9 and A to F, A, B, C, D, E, F, F. So A value is 10 and B value is 11, C value is 12 and 13, so 14 and then 15. So like this one. This is the value of the hexadecimal forms from A to F. So that A to F we can give in capital letter or in small letters. For example, we run directly the program. See, example here is, and we have to prefix 0 small x or 0 capital X. If you want to represent the hexadecimal values, then then you have to prefix with 0 small x or 0 capital X. Now see, we are going to run this program, then we will get the output in which form? In decimal form. See, 64,206. So how it is calculated means similar, the base value is 16. So base value 16 means, so FACE, face. So now 16 power 0, 16 power 1, 16 power 2, 16 power 3. So 16 power 3, F value is 15 plus 16 square into A value is 10 plus 16 power 1 into C value is 12 plus 16 power 0 into E value is what? 14. So if you are going to add these, add and multiplication, then we are going to get some value, that the value in which is in decimal form. So in these 3 ways or in these 4 ways we can represent the int values. But by default, in which form we are going to represent? Decimal form, and the base value is 10. We can also represent that int values in binary form, but you have to add the prefix, that is 0 small b or 0 capital letter of B. And if you want to represent the int values in octal form, then you have to add that prefix, that is 0 small o or 0 capital O. Next, if you want to add that if you want to represent that int values in hexadecimal form, then you have to add that prefix 0 small x or 0 capital X. So this is the thing. Next, we have, these are all the representation of integer values. Next, in this representation only, we had some conversions, that we can say base conversions. So for that purpose, we have some functions which are the built-in functions, that means the Python providing the built-in functions. So if you want to convert a number from decimal to binary, then use bin function. And if you want to convert decimal to octal, then use oct function. And if you want to convert the decimal to hexadecimal value, then then you have to use hex function or hex method. So these are all the built-in functions in Python programming language, that means which are already available in Python library. So first we will see an example for the bin function. By using bin function, we can convert any data type value to binary value. See, for example, I am going to give the value is 7. Now by using bin function, I am going to convert that value, and the result will be stored in some other variable, that is B. Now I am going to print the value of B directly, so no need these all the things. So print B. So what is the value of 7 in binary form? So let's see. What? See, output is 0B111. This is the thing. Next, similarly, we have another function, that is which function? Oct function, which is used to convert decimal to octal. That means the decimal values to octal function. So let me see one example. See, A equals to, for example, 83. So now by using oct function, we are going to convert that 83 value into octal, and the result is stored in object B. Now I save this program. Once I'm running this program, what? See, 0 small o 123. 0 small o 123. Next we have another function, that is hex function, which is used to convert decimal to hexadecimal values. That means we can convert the decimal values to hexadecimal values. So let me see one example. So a equals to some values. So 64,567, some value, or 64,007. Now we are going to use the hex function and convert the decimal value into hexadecimal values by using which function? Hex function. So running this program, what we are getting? See, 0x1907. So this is the hexadecimal value by converting with the hex function. So in this way we can convert the base, that is from decimal to binary value, and decimal to octal value, and decimal to hexadecimal value. Next, coming to this summary, in this slide we discussed about first, that is built-in data types. So in that one, numbers classification we discussed. In that number classification we have int, float and complex. Of course these are all the classes in Python, and in that one we discussed, that is first int. That int data type value or int variable holds the negative values and positive values, which is unlimited length or non-limited length. Int values can represent in another forms, that is decimal form, next binary form, hexadecimal form and octal form, as we discussed in last slide. Next, in Python programming, as we discussed in first slide, in Python programming, data types are actually classes. Data types are actually classes and variables are instances of that classes. For example, here a equals to 10, then this object is what? This object is of which class? Int class, and this is the object. So that's why the variables are the instances of the classes. The classes are here represented what? Data types. So this is the about today class video. So thank you.